Today we're talking about Blightbound, an upcoming co-op dungeon crawler from Warhammer Games that offers players a dark, gritty world to explore in parties of up to 3 people. Now you can find these people through matchmaking, or you can add some friends in couch co-op. So yes, Blightbound is gonna have couch co-op. I know that's a big thing these days because it's almost a unique commodity for a game to actually offer this, but that is coming your way. Blightbound is here to answer those wishes. So what exactly is this game, right? What is Blightbound? Well, if you've played Castle Crashers, it functions pretty similar. You choose a hero that you want to play as, it fits into a role of either a DPS, healer, or tank, then you're placed into a party, you go out, you complete a mission. Now these missions are full of enemies, breakables, loot, bosses, traps, and there are some objectives you have to complete, like finding survivors in order to complete the mission. And all of these missions end with a big boss fight, and it's a multi-phase fight, and these can vary pretty wildly in terms of difficulty and mechanics. So as an example, I had to fight these 2 centaurs at one point, and they were pretty intense. Each one had their own kind of individual mechanics. You had to either keep them separate, bring them together, and it was tough on the higher difficulties. But then on the other hand, you have another boss like Maglord the Hellion, who is literally a pushover on almost every single difficulty I played. I mean, this guy just got burnt to the ground. You could stand still. He was the epitome of tank and spank. He's also the boss of the first mission, so I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time about being such a pushover, but still, I'd like to see him raised up a little bit. Now, at the end of each mission, there's also a report, and it shows any blight damage your hero has taken, which we'll get to in a second, and any loot that you picked up, so you can kind of see everything that you got out of that one mission. So from the top looking down, Blightbound is all about capturing the feeling of raids and dungeons, just without all of the hassle of leveling up, or assembling a raid team, or settling on a class or a role. And the developers really liked the notion of each person having a job to do. So that's how they divided up their game. You have over 20 heroes to unlock, and all of them fall into 3 categories: a tank to hold aggro, a mage to heal and buff allies, and an assassin to deal high damage and interrupt others. Now, each hero does fit into those 3 categories, but they each have their own special twist. So some might deal more damage as you land consecutive hits, while others are able to restore health through their damage over time effects. And really, it all comes down to your playstyle, your preference, and really what fits you best. Now, I spent a few hours playing Blightbound during their latest demo weekend and had a pretty good time. You know, I really kind of enjoyed the game. Now, there wasn't a ton available in the demo, but you really got to see how the game works and what they plan to build on. So I want to talk about that experience a little bit and just say, you know what, I'm moderately excited for what's coming, and I think they do have a decent product on their hands right now. So let's talk about what the demo brought and how I kind of feel about it. So the demo itself had 3 missions to explore on various difficulties, a handful of heroes to unlock, and access to some vendors that you're going to be seeing quite a bit of in early access. And throughout the game, you're going to be rewarded with loot, attribute points to spend, and like I mentioned, new visitors in your town hub to interact with. So let's get the whole thing started off with the most important thing, and that's talking about the loot. So the loot in this game is straightforward, and it was enough to push me to play more, but I do want them to expand on this over time. I feel like right now it's a little light in terms of affixes and build potential. I understand this game isn't all about builds, right? It's not about build, it's more about having a good time, but there's always room for improvement. And when it comes to equipping your heroes, you have 4 slots to fill. You have your weapon, your offhand, and your trinkets. And each one of these gives flat stats until you start getting into the epic or legendary qualities. And then you're going to start to see some bonuses and things that could synergize pretty well. So during my playthrough, most of the higher end gear that I was able to scrape together was blue quality, and it all came from the blacksmith. So she basically took a ton of the junk that I pulled from missions, a lot of the crap gear, the common, the just stuff that would have been sold or trashed anyway, and crafted something useful out of it, which was really cool. I mean, I liked the simple yet effective system of crafting. You can easily see the process of what materials lead to certain items. So if I wanted to create a metal plate, it would put the metal plate in the center of my UI. It would show beneath the metal plate what created it, and then from the metal plate at the top of the UI, it would show what that metal plate could create. So you got to see the full thing. Okay, If I want to create this particular sword, I need metal plates. To get metal plates, I need these things. And you didn't have to bounce back and forth between a crafting catalog and your materials and try to line things up and figure out, do I have what I need? Do I not have what I need? So I like the clarity in this system, and I think it's a good system to build upon. So all in all, I think loot is in a good starting place, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to keep players occupied for too long unless the demo is just a small slice of what is out there. I would like to see more affixes, more bonuses, really more synergies, and just a little bit deeper of a system altogether. So let's talk about heroes. Now, heroes in Blightbound, like we mentioned, they come in all shapes and sizes. They fit into the tank, DPS, and healer role, and you're going to start the game with 3 heroes, one for each type, and then you'll unlock more as you complete missions, you hire them from merchants, you discover various secrets. All of these things are going to lead to more heroes. And we said earlier, there's over 20 to go out there and collect. Now, all of these heroes have their own twist that makes them slightly unique to each other, and it's not like monumental, but it's slightly unique. And a good example of the ones that were available in demo is Mouse versus Scarlet, and these are 2 DPS assassin characters. Now, I personally, Scarlet over Mouse 1000%. I felt like her toolkit was way more useful. She was able to put out more DPS, and she just felt more complete and a much better character in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying Mouse is a bad hero. I'm just saying she definitely was not my playstyle, and in terms of output, fell short. And all of this was really decided by 2 changes to her skills. Scarlet has a smoke bomb that allows her to make the party invisible and deal damage over time to any enemies caught inside of it. And then her passive is an increase to backstab damage. So this synergizes really well because she can drop her smoke bomb and then just go absolutely crazy with backstabs, put out massive amounts of damage, and things just melt when Scarlet is behind them. Mouse, on the other hand, does not have the smoke bomb. Instead, she has a leap slam ability that deals AoE damage, and her passive is consecutive hits deal increased damage, which sounds fantastic, but unfortunately it caps out at 3 hits, which really limits its potential for a maximum of 30% damage. So it's 10% increased, 20% increased, 30% increased, and now we're done. And those are base hits, unfortunately. So all in all, Mouse seems more like a scrapper kind of front end style character, and Scarlet seems like your more traditional assassin. So this is just one example of how heroes can have these very small changes, and it impacts group effectiveness and playstyle pretty drastically. So beyond the actual skill set, heroes are also going to gain levels. So at the end of each successful dungeon run, you're going to gain a level, guaranteed. There's no experience or anything like that. You complete the dungeon, boom, you get a level. Now, levels went up to level 8 in the demo. I'm not sure if this is going to be final or not, but whatever. Now, each time a hero levels up, they're going to gain 3 points to spend on a variety of different stats, things like vitality, will, power, whatever. So spend them pretty wisely because there was not a reset that I saw when I was playing. Also, after each mission, heroes will be affected by blight damage, and this is non-avoidable, so you're going to get some form of blight damage. And heroes will start off at 100% blight, and then as they take blight damage, their meter is going to go down. When their meter reaches 0, that hero will become blight struck, and you will not be able to use that hero until they recover. So you can't sit there and play that one hero the entire time over and over and over and over again until your heart's content. Instead, you're going to have to play a variety of different heroes. So that is something that I can see being really kind of, I don't want to say controversial, but a lot of people are going to either love that system or hate that system because they really have grown to like that one character they have or that one play style they've attached to. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. Overall, I had a good time with Blightbound. I think it's going to be a game that has a strong community after launch, especially with it launching on both PC and consoles. Now, I didn't have too many issues with the game. There was one issue with rebinding keys and another time where our healer got stuck, but ultimately no problems at all, ran very solid. Another individual in my Discord was having problems with his controller working, but beyond those 3 things, I didn't hear a peep out of anyone else. So, Blightbound is hitting early access on July 29th on Steam, and it will be $20. So guys, let's get talking downstairs. Who actually went out and played the Blightbound demo? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Does this look interesting to you? Does this look boring? I particularly am kind of excited for it, so can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. As always, thank you so much for the support. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.